Mike's Diabetes World. Okay, let's take a look at things. Let's get the good show going. Current blood sugar is sitting at 7.7. Fully calibrated, I have 0.675 units of insulin left over from lunch. Pretty well all morning I didn't have any basal rate going. Around 1 o'clock it started to give me some insulin, and then at 1:30, just about 24 minutes ago, it gave me a dose. Let's see just what the dose is, shall we? The dose is 0.7 units. And it does this to make sure that my blood sugar doesn't start going crazy. Okay? So, last night, I was pretty well stable. Right now, I'm at 99% time and range. It was just before lunch. Was it before lunch? I went up to 10.4. So, that's that little 1%. But otherwise, I'm in par. Same as yesterday's number. And it's not that I just did one video yesterday. So we're the same video here. And I have 7 average sugar in millimoles. So all in all, it's pretty good. Today, I wanted to start to discuss mistakes I have made. And trust me, there are a lot of them. Mistakes I made with my diabetes. So it may tie into the last series I just did, changes. So there may be some overlaps here. But I hope you enjoy it. And we'll be right back. Okay, mistakes I made. Well, I got diagnosed, and this one's kind of half a mistake, and then we'll get into the major one today. My first real mistake was not knowing enough that I didn't go to my mom and say, something's wrong. I'm just very thirsty all the time, and I seem to be going to the bathroom all the time. I didn't do that. So, I'm really kind of sorry that I didn't identify that. It could have been a whole different, I wouldn't have got into so much. I was kind of teetering on being in total DKA. I wasn't sick, I wasn't vomiting, it was just drinking of water and urinating. But I got diagnosed. Okay. I've told this story a number of times, so I'll keep it brief. Not, but I got into a situation where I got all my blood sugars done in different books and everything. Got them all together. I got a new typewriter. I typed it out. I gave it to my doctor. It was urine sugars at the time. He took a look at them and yelled at me, saying, "This is ridiculous. These aren't real. You're just making up." The problem was, I wasn't making up. When I left that doctor's office, I I was furious with him. First of all, I did not want to go see that doctor, like, ever again. And I haven't seen that doctor ever again. But instead of having a plan and saying, okay, you know what, I'm not going to go see that doctor again. Let's find another doctor and let's come up with a plan through them of controlling my blood sugar. So, what did I do instead? I just went on my way injecting my insulin and kept eating chocolate bars, kind of denying that I didn't have diabetes. And I think that's the biggest thing. I didn't accept totally that I had diabetes. So for many years, I just kept going through the routines. Oh, my blood sugar's high. Oh, well, so what? I'd walk around in, let me do the math for you here. I go through 17 to 18 blood sugars, so that was about 306 for those of you on the American side. And this was just normal. Through those years, and it was years, I went and saw a family doctor. I started to go see a new GP. I never took it further than just a GP. I saw my GP and, sorry, excuse me, he just said, "Oh, okay." Like, he didn't, he did an awesome job. I liked my GP. Dr. McBride, I had him for years. And he retired, and again, maybe I should look for a doctor. No, I just went out and just did stuff. I'd be going into the hospital, coming out and saying, "You know what? I'm going to do the best. I'm going to follow exactly what they said in the hospital. I'm just going to do that, and I'm just going to be the most wonderful diabetic that ever lived." No, didn't happen that way. I'd go out, I'd bring lunches to work, I'd do my blood sugars, and then life would just get in the way. One big thing that we as diabetics learn as we enter into adulthood is that the world is, sorry, excuse me, made up for non-diabetics. You know, giving you a chance to blood test, You're in a meeting. There's more important things to do. We have to do this. Having lunch on the go really doesn't work all the time. And it really gets to be a problematic time. This was something I could have corrected. I could have said, okay, I'm not happy. Talk to my sister, who I was living with at the time. Send a message to my mom, who was in Fiji at the time. It's a long story. Talk to my dad, saying, hey, I need a doctor. But I didn't. And when I came in time to move in with my dad, I didn't have a doctor. I was flying by the seat of my pants. My insulin dose for those years physically really didn't change. If I went high, I'd give myself extra insulin. I was really self-medicating. Since then, I've learned that's not the way to go at it. If you are medicating yourself, you're going to end up in the hospital. You're going to end up being found unconscious. And the problem is now I get blamed for that. I'm not doing that right now, but I'm still getting blamed. Oh, you're self-medicating. Oh, this self-medicating thing that you're doing isn't working. Well, it is working for me, but not for you. But well, that's a different story. That maybe be a story time. But how did I get this doctor in the first place that sent me over the deep end? Well, my aunt and her family had been seeing this doctor for years. And my mom and I, Dr. Trevor Smith, who was on West Broadway in Vancouver, left. I think he moved his practice out to Wasson or something. And so, okay, we ended up going to go see him because my aunt got us in, and he was the one who diagnosed me with type 1 diabetes. When I grew up and had this confrontation with him, I was furious. I have never been so mad in my life. I'm not gonna deal with any doctor ever again. I can do this on my own. That was my philosophy. And I met a couple of good doctors. I met a doctor, Dr. Hunt, over when we were living in North Vancouver. After I came out of high school, I moved in with moved in with my mom, and I slept in their living room on a cot behind the bed, and I just had a thought. I didn't really like myself. I think I had suffered bullying in high school. I didn't know how to really accept myself. And that's what led to me not following up on finding a new doctor, living my life haphazard, trying to fit in my life into work. I worked for many years in a convenience store. I'm sure if you think real hard, you can figure out what company. I've said it on here a number of times. Initially was open from 7 to 11 every day, 7 a.m. to 11. Ah, but I started weaponizing during that time too. So I would go and when I didn't want to do nights anymore, I took a letter from my doctor saying I couldn't do nights anymore. And I was moved to afternoons. I really enjoyed working afternoons. And that's where I started to believe in myself. I started to feel better about myself. I got into training with 7-Eleven. I said the name. I got into being the head of the whole training organization. It was awesome. But times where I would end up in the hospital really started to decrease. When I started saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to try this thing again where I'm going to do what I have to do in order to keep my blood sugars in line. Yep, I'm going to do it. I'm sure my family, friends at that point were so sick of me hearing about this. But I went to work. I, on the computer, drew up a table and started using that template, and I got a computer of my own and started doing different things, and my blood sugars came down instead of going around super high. Until now, until the realization that things outside of life started going better for me. Oh, sorry, I mentioned before, I'm jumping here, sorry. There, about getting a note and going to see if I could, get off nights, and everyone would say, oh no, you're going to be fired. Lord knows there were an awful lot of other men working, because at that point, women couldn't work nights. And they accepted it, so. But, okay, fast forward back to where we were. Sorry about that, I didn't mean to jump all over the place. My blood sugar started to be better. I started to live better. I started to feel better. I had energy to do stuff. I got into traveling for work. Things I couldn't have done before because I was so unstable with my blood sugars. But we survived. Now, if I ended up without a doctor, I know how to do it. I'd go to the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons. I'd look online, I'd get referrals, look for new doctors, when I say referrals, I would speak to my endocrinologist. They probably know of people that are accepting patients. It's a real shortage now, but I know that I wouldn't try to solve this disease all on my own because I know I couldn't. But as a young kid, that was the biggest mistake I ever made, thinking that I could do it all and I'd be fine. I know what my dose of insulin. Never occurred to me that my insulin dose would change. But you go high, you go out, you have a couple of drinks, soda pop, I'm talking. Because I was never really a drinker. But, I come home, my blood sugar, I wake up in the middle of the night, my blood sugar be super high. I take insulin. At one point, I was having highs by 4 o'clock in the morning. My blood sugars were super high, I'd wake up feeling sick. And what I would do I would be sleep, wake up if my blood sugar was higher than I believe 11 or 10, sorry, it was 10. My blood sugar was higher than 10. I took a dose of insulin to bring it down. If it was below there, I left it. That was something I came up with. I thought it was the greatest idea until I started going to diabetic education and found out that's probably not the greatest thing you could be doing. But, so, not having a doctor for years, a GP, B, just an endocrinologist, I was not doing well. And I ended up in hospital. I met other doctors along the way, Dr. Hunt, Dr. Tildesley, who tried to control me, but I was so set in my ways I wasn't ready. And I guess I kind of contributed to, like, what do you want to say? Alcoholism, that I wasn't ready to accept the change. So, now I am, and now that was, God, that was early 80s, early 90s, I guess, by the time it came around. And from 1992-ish, we'll say 1994, till today, I'm trying to control my blood sugars so that I feel my best and I'm living my best life. Yeah, I know, it's long-term care, but what can you do? If you're interested in how I ended up here, watch yesterday's video. And with that, we're going to call it a day. I hope this opens some insight and watch some pitfalls that you may fall into if you're just diagnosed with diabetes and figure in a young adult's life and they start thinking, oh yes, I can do this all. And back then, when I was diagnosed, complications weren't going to happen to me. Yet, complications have. With that, have a great day, and we'll talk later. Till then, keep your blood sugars on the straight and narrow. And I hope to see you tomorrow, same time, same bat station. Bye now. My email address is Mike's Diabetes World at gmail.com. All one line. Drop me